on top of that, it's generally not how they think.
Right.
You know, I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. All the money, you got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that shit. Like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like 3 million. There's watches that are 3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself like draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment.
Joe Rogan says Floyd Mayweather made a huge amount of money, but spent it carelessly, showing off costly cars, watches, and luxury items while ignoring taxes, thinking the money would never finish, which later caused him to lose. Almost $1 billion.
It's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know? He
no
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the stadium, like, so he didn't have to pay for an apartment. So smart.
Yeah.
So clever, you know? But that's...
Joe Rogan said Floyd Mayweather built his image around showing his wealth, flashing luxury watches, and creating envy. But now the results of that lifestyle are clearly visible to everyone.
Because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches, this watch goes for $2 million, and they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but I want to show you, when I show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates.
Nicholas Irving says Floyd Mayweather spends almost $1 million every day, traveling nonstop, going to casinos, gambling heavily, and living a life of constant luxury.
Gambling and all, of course, the gambling, you know, casinos and all that. He lives a very interesting lifestyle, very fast paced. I think the average person will have a hard time keeping up, but it's the amount of it. You got the private jets, you got the cars. But no, he could easily spend a few $500,000, $1 million+ in a day, like easy. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, $400 million in a fight, and you put into like a high escrow or something like that, yeah, you keep pulling in really good interest. But I don't know. I know the dude can spend a lot of money like it's nothing. Like $1 million, $2 million, $5 million for Floyd in a day or a week is like nothing.
Yeah, that's insanity. I mean, it would not surprise me if all of this is hyperbole. You know, I've always looked at Floyd as a very, very smart person, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood.
DJ Vlad says a well-known jeweler suggested Floyd Mayweather might be facing financial problems due to years of heavy spending on jewelry, watches, cars, music, and other luxury items.
Whether even doing any goofy shit
but you know, but you would think that your investments would
continue to grow.
Right.
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever.
Right.
And with my investments, you know, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling my stocks.
Right.
So I assumed that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't.
Chael Soden explains that Floyd Mayweather, like many fighters, can lose wealth after retirement as fame fades, peak years end, and public attention slowly decreases.
What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company.
Who is the back 100? An American music executive and manager says Floyd Mayweather faced financial issues for nearly 20 years, and that $20 million might still be seen as broke for him.
Floyd, I've asked him questions about this. And rule number one is, if Floyd ain't talking about it and Floyd ain't promoting it, then it's just talk.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes is still there, because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know, unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse the man of going broke.
Nicholas Irving explained that Floyd Mayweather's financial problems are mainly linked to the lavish lifestyle he lived for years. Irving noted that Mayweather spent large amounts on travel, entertainment, and luxury experiences, often including his close friends and associates. He remembered Mayweather taking his whole crew on expensive shopping trips, paying for private jets, and even renting entire movie theaters for private screenings, with daily costs sometimes reaching hundreds of thousands or over $1 million.
See to that? Like, how on God's green earth could this man be broke?
His lifestyle. I've been around like hanging out for days, weeks. It's the lifestyle. Like when you got a 40-man entourage, you got other people, and you take everybody out, pay for everything, we shopping, the mall, going out to eat, renting out an entire movie theater. Yeah, just to go watch a movie at whatever time he wanted. It was like the theater was closed when we got rolled up to the movie theater, and you know, you got the girls and all. Yeah, and you rent out a whole movie theater for 40, 50 plus people. I bet that bill can...
Irving pointed out that the main issue wasn't just Mayweather's high spending, but also his lack of long-term investments to secure his financial future. Instead of building stable projects, he focused on enjoying his interests, which slowly reduced his wealth. Over time, music, the mix of constant luxury spending and limited financial planning created a weak situation. According to Irving, while Mayweather's lifestyle was flashy and attention-grabbing, it was not sustainable, showing that even top-earning athletes can face financial trouble if short-term enjoyment is chosen over careful planning. His story shows how lifestyle choices can have lasting effects on wealth and security even for the most successful professionals.
I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood. He was in show business.
Yep.
When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a boxer that was doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was winning fights.
Mm-hmm.
But when he became Money Mayweather and changed that persona and put that marketing machine behind the I live this lavish lifestyle, that's when you started seeing him make these big money fights.
Yeah.
That's when it all changed for him.
Yep.
And that's not by accident. It's not by chance. This guy's not dumb. He's not a stupid guy whatsoever.
No. And I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think he's broke. I think it's a lot of...
Whack 100 shared his thoughts on Floyd Mayweather and the financial discussions around him. He said that if Mayweather can still enter the ring and earn millions from one fight, taking that chance should not be criticized. Many athletes return when they see ongoing demand for their name. And boxing is one of the few sports where a legendary fighter can hold exhibitions, attract global attention, and earn major income. In Whack 100's view, fighting again when the chance to earn millions exists is simply a smart decision.
100 million, man, to get in the ring with, we got 150 million to get in the ring with Mike Tyson on some exhibition shit. And then 6 months later, we got 300 million for you to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He look it up, he like, that's 450 million. Sometimes you miss the light. But I can guarantee you, he ain't broke. He's making a lot of sound investments. You hear me, Cam Capone?
Yeah.
This I know for a fact. He's making a lot of sound investments. And the investments I've seen being made ain't the investments of some.
DJ Vlad discussed claims about Floyd Mayweather's finances, noting that a well-known jeweler once suggested Mayweather could be struggling due to years of heavy spending. Vlad pointed out that expensive purchases of jewelry, watches, music cars, and other luxury items may have used up much of his wealth. He added that stronger long-term investments could have protected and increased his fortune. Vlad also noted that if Mayweather Promotions had kept growing with top fighters like Gervonta Davis, the company might now be one of boxing's top promotional forces.
Told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing and showing up. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are gonna say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's
yeah, but look what happened to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested.
So if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are gonna peep any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not winning.
Boxing analysts have commented on the upcoming exhibition between Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson, saying that the fight seems driven more by money than real competition. Many experts note that Tyson, far past his prime, is unlikely to perform at the level that once made him dominant. Critics also say that if Mayweather wanted a true challenge, the chance would have been years ago when both were at their best. The timing of the fight suggests it is meant to use their fame and legacy to gain attention and generate major revenue.
Who looks at it now and says he's 50-0? A generation, the first generation of boxing fans who don't box. Tattoos all over. You will shoot somebody down for $1, right? You will play around and beat up a bum who's drunk out of his mind so you can put it on YouTube, right? But you won't put on the gloves. You won't go to a local gym and put on the gloves. And you have killed boxing. You have killed something that saved me from a life of being a victim. Okay? You have done it. And you have destroyed boxing in such a way, Floyd Mayweather fans and Floyd Mayweather. You have destroyed boxing.
Although Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson are legendary names in boxing, analysts warned that the fight may offer little in terms of skill, strategy, or real competition. While fans may be excited to see two icons in the ring, the event is expected to focus more on entertainment than real boxing ability. Experts suggest it will attract audiences looking for excitement, nostalgia, and hype, showing the financial reasons behind the promotion. Basically, the fight is seen as a commercial event focusing on money, publicity, and legacy over true competition.
Lasted all of maybe a minute against a prime Mike Tyson. Okay? Against a prime Mike Tyson. But what Mike Tyson are we looking at today? We're looking at a very old man who has abused his body, who has bad knees, right? Who is a lot slower, okay? And after 2 rounds, he's done. He's an old man. Now, when you have a style like Mike Tyson, where everything you do, you being great, depends on speed because you're short. You understand? See, Mike Tyson could never...
Meanwhile, some analysts encourage fans to look beyond the idea that Floyd Mayweather is returning only for money. They say that for many fighters, boxing is more than business. It is a lifelong passion and central to their identity. The thrill of entering the ring, feeling the adrenaline, and experiencing a fight's atmosphere can be as powerful as any payment. Music. These experts suggest Mayweather's return may be driven by true love for the sport and the unique experience it brings, not just financial gain.
They're one of the few names in boxing that still somehow matters because there are very few of them. Comes out of retirement at 49 years old. We're assuming, right? Everyone's assuming he needs money, right? Nobody goes back into the game of possibly being hit and embarrassed in front of people simply because they love boxing a great deal at the age of 49.
He's probably incredibly confused why someone keeps selling his mortgages. He probably has a dozen homes and 3 dozen different people holding his mortgages lately. That's why he's fighting.
It's the price of blow pops that has brought him back into
I'm sure all of it.
Fighting.
And he doesn't look, from where I was sitting over the last 20 years, didn't seem like he was like super fiscally responsible. This is the least surprising thing ever.
Well, you say it's the least.
Experts say that Floyd Mayweather's return should not be seen as driven only by money. For legendary fighters, boxing is more than a job. It is a passion, a lifestyle, and a key part of who they are, lasting even after retirement. Music returning to the ring allows athletes to feel the special excitement, focus, and satisfaction that only competition gives. Facing a famous opponent like Mike Tyson gives Mayweather a chance to relive that intensity and thrill, which money alone cannot replace. While the payout is large, experts stress that the love of the sport, the challenge, and the bond with fans in the boxing community are just as important, showing the personal meaning behind this return.
Surprising thing ever, but can you, Jeremy, just look up for me, okay, the amount of earnings that we're talking about here? Because while athletic money being blown is a bit of a cliche, there are very few athletes ever who have made the kind of money that Floyd Mayweather has made. And because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that
That concludes today's video. Stay tuned for more.